Give it to me.
I'm done.
I'm out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever it is you're tuning in. Welcome to Ticket Price, the only show that asks the question that matters. Are these movies worth the ticket price? In other words, are they worth your time and money? Thank you for tuning in, episode 86. And with you as always, I am the host and voice of the show. My name is Jake, sitting across the way. Co-host extraordinaire, editor-in-chief. See, I brought that back. And the only man who thinks Star Wars Rebels is better than the Clone Wars. Tevis and Master Control. Tevis, how are you, sir?
I got to be honest. I have yet to watch anything from Rebels, and I've only watched one season of Clone Wars.
You're missing out.
I know.
Clone Wars, I think, is better, like almost far and away, but Rebels is good.
Is it?
It's not bad. It's fun. It's fine.
I need to watch Clone Wars. I need to finish watching Clone Wars.
Okay, can I bring up something I was thinking about when I came up with this Only Man joke?
Sure.
And now I feel like we need to talk about it.
Okay.
And I need people in the comments to give us their opinion too. As Disney keeps bastardizing Star Wars content and we keep getting more and more and more and more, and it seems like with each new content, you know what we also get? More Jedi that survived Order 66.
Well, the universe is big.
Sure, but at what point do we as a fandom just have to accept that Order 66 was a failure?
Yeah.
Because my God.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. And honestly, I haven't watched much of the Disney Star Wars stuff just because their last movies that they released with The Last Jedi and Rise of Gih was fucking awful, and it turned me off.
Now, wait a minute. The Force Awakens isn't bad. It's just a beat-for-beat retelling of A New Hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's not bad.
No, it was not bad. And
it's fine.
Honestly,
it's totally fine.
I had a good time watching it in the theater, but when I go back now and watch it, I just constantly reminded, like, this is A New Hope.
A New Hope, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, at what point do we, as the fans of Star Wars, just unanimously agree that Order 66 was a failed operation?
Good job, Palpatine.
Yeah, you suck ass.
Wrinkled old dick.
And then you've got, like, Vader and his Inquisition. Yeah, good work, guys. And also, as they keep like, oh, no, look, we have more Jedi, and this person survived, and this Star Wars game released, and this is also a character that survived Order 66. Like, it undermines the entire crux of the Star Wars saga of Anakin being the chosen one and bringing balance to the Force. At the end of the day, if you count the prequels and then the originals, there were only two Sith left, Palpatine and then Vader.
Right.
And then Vader brings balance and all the Jedi die except Obi-Wan and Yoda. Then Obi-Wan dies and Luke becomes, finishes his training. We're back to 2. Yoda dies. Vader kills Palpatine because he throws him down the shaft or whatever. Then Vader dies. Then we're just left with Luke, who has experienced and is now embodying dark and light. And, forges or seems like he's going to forge a path of new understanding. Oh, Sarah's calling.
Oh, answer it.
Sarah. Hey.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Where was I? Sarah called, and now we had to edit a bunch of shit out, and I'm all thrown off. But, Luke seemingly is going to forge a new path for the Force and the Jedi with more of a balanced understanding. What we actually learn is he goes to some weird planet and drinks animal milk straight from the teat like a psychopath.
I'm not even going to lie. When I was sitting in a theater watching that and that part came up, I was like, ugh.
Everyone went,
I don't like this.
No. But we're not talking about all of that nonsense. But I'm just saying, at what point do we just agree that Order 66 was a failed operation?
That was the same reaction I had to watching the entire Last Jedi movie and Rise of Skywalker was, I don't like this.
Well, that's fair. Now, we're not talking about Star Wars, though. I think, if we make it to our 2nd year anniversary, we might do the original trilogy.
Or the prequel trilogy.
Man.
Speaking of prequels.
What a segue! Today, episode 86, we are looking at the 2011 prequel, The Thing.
Oh, hell.
Oh, hell. Written by Eric Hesserer. Hesserer?
Sure.
Hesserer. And John W. Campbell Jr. Now, to be fair, John W. Campbell Jr. wrote Who Goes There, what this whole story is based on.
Correct.
So the actual writer is Eric Hesserer. Directed by Matthias von
Heineken?
Hold on. Heineken
Heineken.
Jr.
Sure. We apologize for our
No, I don't.
Americanness.
No, I don't. Starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Joel Edgerton. Because nothing says Norwegian, Arctic, research base like Americans.
Exactly.
Now, Tevis. We need to thank Sarah. Her call just got us really just like right on track, too.
Absolutely.
All right. Budget. What do you think 2011 prequel, The Thing, was made for?
$50.
$50?
No, $50 million.
With an estimated budget of $38 million.
Oh, okay.
Now, Tevis, this is a horror movie, and it was heavily marketed as the prequel to one of the all-time classics. So as a horror movie, what do you think this movie grossed?
Well, I know this bombed. So I want to say $30 million.
With a worldwide gross of $31,505,287.
Hell yeah.
Just a little shy of their $38 million investment.
So does that $38 million, is that the initial cost of the film, or is that including all of the reshoots and the visual effects that they had to redo? Or do you know?
I don't have like a breakdown.
Okay.
My understanding is this is total estimated cost.
Okay. Well, we'll get to the added shit on top of it once we get there.
Yeah. And this movie had 6 award nominations.
Razzies?
Here's the thing. None of them big or major. None of them negative.
Really?
None of them negative.
Okay.
But also none of them like, oh, look, it's a Golden Globe.
Yeah. It's an Oscar for best creature work. Best
So
makeup.
I want to talk about a few things before we really get into the film. In my research, I learned that originally Universal wanted to do a remake of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, I read that too.
A pure remake. Yet the team behind this film said, no, we can't. That movie is about as perfect as you can make a movie about this. We can't remake it. So then what they did was they pivoted, and the team sold Universal on the idea of a prequel, which would lead me to think that the team who advocated for John Carpenter's, who advocated they don't remake it or touch it, that advocated instead, let's try to do our own thing but build on to the legacy, would have a deep understanding of the story, of how the film was made, of what works and why it works, and just a love for what their endeavor is. that they would put the necessary care into upholding all of that stuff.
Okay, well, I'm going to defend the director.
Okay.
When they came to him to do a remake, he's like, "No, I don't want to remake it. It would be like," and this is what he said is when in my research, it'd be like painting a mustache on Mona Lisa. I was like, okay, that's fair. There was so much studio interference in the making of this.
Okay.
This was his first American directorial job.
Yeah.
And after this was over, he had such a terrible experience with it. He vowed to never work for an American studio ever again.
Oh my gosh.
There was so much that the studio, they did a test screening, and the test audiences didn't like a whole bunch of shit. They didn't like the visual effects because it was all supposed to be practical.
Yeah.
Everything was practical. And they were going to use CGI to enhance those practical effects, adding tentacles.
And in 2011, like you're supposed to.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Yeah.
But the test audiences didn't like it. They said it looked too 80s. So the studio panicked and was like, okay, no, we got to change it. Everything's got to be CGI. And they were working on this film after everything was done shot. They were still working on the CGI of it 24 hours before it was supposed to be released to theaters.
Oh my God.
So when we get to the parts with the CGI and how terrible it looks, there is a reason why it looks so bad. Because they didn't have time.
Thanks, Universal or whoever.
Yeah. And there was one moment at the end that the studio was like, nobody understands what this is. Get rid of it. So they covered it up with the Tetris looking thing. When Mary Elizabeth Winstead is on the ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she's looking at like a computer screen or something.
It's this big pillar with little Tetris looking things coming down. Yeah, that was not originally shot.
Okay.
But once we get there, I'll bring up
I want to hear
what I found out. And there is a lot of interesting behind the scenes shit that happened with this movie.
Yeah.
And this director, obviously being his first American film, he didn't have the clout of a Spielberg or
he couldn't say, I don't care what you think.
Exactly. He couldn't be like, no, sorry, I'm doing it my way.
Mm-hmm.
But there was all kinds of reshoots, rewriting of the script all the way up until they were done. It was like the studio constantly had their finger in everything.
So I shouldn't blame the team.
No.
Okay. Well, then I retract what I said.
The blame rests on Universal.
The blame rests on useless, overpaid executives.
Absolutely.
Much like it does the vast majority of the world's problems.
Yes, it does.
All right. That's good to know. Can I bring up my second thing?
Yes.
Before we dive in? This is in your collection. You let me borrow it. My good Lord. If this DVD / Blu-ray / 4K doesn't have the worst movie previews
Oh my God,
I've ever seen in my life.
You mean you didn't like the preview for Scorpion King 3?
Well, I'm watching it going, okay, and I'm like, wait, is that Ron Perlman?
And Billy Zane.
And Billy, I'm going, what the hell? And then they're like, the Scorpion King 3. I went, they made 3 Scorpion Kings?
And the fact that Kimbo Slice also gets a mention.
Yeah, and it's like, featuring Kimbo Slice and Dave Bautista. And I went, what the?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because they said Dave Bautista, and I totally forgot he was in that. But I was like, oh, God, it's got Dave Bautista. Kimbo Slice. No, never mind.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't forget it had Dave Bautista. I didn't know this movie existed. Then there was like Honey 2. And then there's I can't remember what they all were, but I just went, oh, Hobbs and Shaw, I think were in there. This had to have been the worst selection of movie previews.
Yeah.
And I just went, there's a reason these movies are getting previewed on this movie.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I love about physical media. We get to see terrible shit like this.
You're not wrong.
Because it had the 90s voice guy narrating the In a World.
Yeah.
Starring Dave Bautista and Kimbo Slice.
One man can save the universe. Yeah. And my God, I don't know who was playing the Scorpion King, but I'm just like,
Nobody knew.
everybody just went, who is that?
Yeah, no
Did
clue.
you just hire the Rock's stunt double?
They just saw a guy walking down the road, like, you're hired.
Okay. Hey, good for him.
Now I'm curious. I want to know who that guy is.
But no, just in my notes, there are 3 Scorpion King movies? What?
Yeah, I watched the first one and I was done.
You watched the first Scorpion King?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I was curious. It's like morbid curiosity.
Would you like to put a paperclip in your urethra?
Well, not anymore. That's what I did when I was watching the first Scorpion King.
I mean, how far will your curiosity take you?
Take this fork and put it in that outlet.
I'm told you'll have a religious epiphany. You might see biblically accurate angels if you do this, from what I'm told.
Victor Webster?
That first name does not match that last name.
No. Okay, I don't know who he is. Oh.
What else has he done?
Scorpion King 4?
Shut up.
There's a 4.
Shut your face.
I have no idea.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
That had to be straight to video.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure it's straight to something.
Straight to toilet.
Yeah.
There's a Scorpion King 4.
Yeah. I can't believe it made it past 1, honestly.
Hold on. Let's break our no sequels rule until we do the original and watch the Scorpion King 4.
We'll watch him backwards. We'll do 4, 3, 2, and then 1.
And I bet it won't.
It won't matter.
The continuity won't matter.
No, Victor Webster has done like a lot of Hallmarky type shit.
Yeah.
Summer Villa.
Sure.
Mystery on Mistletoe Lane.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. He was a daytime soap opera star. Hey, he was on Days of Our Lives.
Ooh.
Anyway.
You know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
If they were like, Jake, you want to be in a soap opera? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Because you could ride that for a 30-year career. You'll die twice, get fired once.
Yeah, come back and you have an entirely different face.
Now I'm playing a woman. Because my character died, but then they took the main bad lady who got too big for her britches. They fired her. So they've implanted her character's brain in my character's body. And I'm back. Actually, didn't that happen in Friends?
I was going to say, are you Joey Tribbiani?
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, didn't that actually happen? And that was the joke in Friends at one point. Oh, shit. But no, I had to talk about those terrible previews. It was so funny. Okay. So, are you ready? No, we're not ready. Tevis, what is your history with 2011 The Thing? I mean, we talked about it. You own it.
I do.
Why do you own it?
Well, okay. The Thing is my favorite horror movie.
Yes.
Of all time.
Wait, 2011's The Thing?
No.
Oh.
The original, and I would say the original.
The black and white?
No.
With James Arness from Gunsmoke?
No. John Carpenter's masterpiece. John Carpenter's best film.
Yes.
So I had heard they were doing a prequel to this. I was super excited. I wanted to watch it in the theater. I just never got a chance to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it was gone. Then I found out it was getting released on Blu-ray, DVD, or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to go buy it. I don't even care. As soon as the day it came out, I went to Walmart, bought it, went home, threw it in my DVD player. Mm-hmm. The volume wouldn't work. It was completely mute.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was completely mute.
I've never heard of this problem before.
Never had either. So I was like, well, is it my player? So I put in a different movie. Everything worked. Everything was fine. I'm like, shit. So I took it back to Walmart, and they grill you like you're trying to rob Sam Walton. But are you having problems there, partner?
Yeah, the clamp that we used to hold the mic stands up has come loose, and now my shit's all over the place. Don't mind me.
I love watching you fight that thing.
I'm struggling for my life. Keep talking. They obviously thought you had burned it or something.
Oh yeah, they're like, well, we can't give you your money back. I'm like, I don't want my money back. I want this movie. It just doesn't work. Okay. Do you have your receipt? I'm like, yes, it's in the box. It's right there. Okay. I had to do this 4 different times because every single copy I got would not work. I think my Blu-ray player was trying to tell me something.
It was trying to save you. Wait, we're giving away content.
But I finally got it to work. Finally got a working copy. Watched it. And honestly, I wasn't impressed with it, but I wasn't disappointed either. It was kind of, that was a movie.
Now, be honest.
Mhm.
How far into the movie did you actually make it with no sound? Did you make it all the way through?
Oh no.
Were you just like, just see what happens?
No, I didn't even make it past the snowcat scene.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was like, this isn't working. What the hell? I took it out a couple times, wiped it down.
Yeah.
But every time I went back to Walmart, it seemed like I got that exact same lady. And she was just like, this motherfucker. And you could see her when I come around the corner, her eyes would squint a little bit when she saw me. And she's like, I'm like, chill out, lady. You're not saving Walmart because of my $20 Blu-ray player or Blu-ray movie. Jesus. Chill out.
She took her job very seriously.
She did. I think she cleaned off her badge every time I walked up to her. Anyway, what is your history with this prequel?
I'm trying to think of how I've seen this movie once before. All the way through. And I went, oh yeah, I'll watch that. Maybe with a buddy. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I just remember watching it and not being impressed and not feeling any need whatsoever to revisit. I just watched it. I went, oh no, I don't care for that. And then I just rewatched John Carpenters.
Yeah. Okay.
I needed to cleanse my palate.
Sure.
I'll just point out my wife did not watch this one with me.
Oh, really?
She would have, but the way our schedules this week lined out, I was home alone one morning. And so after the girls, went to school and daycare and whatever, and I had some time before work. So this is what I did.
I'm sorry.
And I just, I was like, I'll just get out of the way because I'm going to go into it with an open mind, but just in case. And if it is really good, then I'll let Anna know and we'll watch it together. No big deal. That was the plan.
Okay.
So Tevis, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. We see 3 guys in a snowcat. One of them, your hand is up. I have literally, I have not put a period on my first sentence, I don't think, because I'm notoriously bad for run-on sentences, and you already have a hand up.
First things first. The tagline for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Well, a tagline is a thing.
I hate you.
No, the tagline for this movie is "It's not human yet."
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. Now that you say it, I remember reading that on the case. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. It's never human. It looks human, but it's never human.
Right.
So right there, I was like, that's kind of misleading.
I have to make a note so I really don't forget to talk about something.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like that is a really kind of crappy tagline.
It's not great.
No. It's almost like it should have been like, it doesn't look like us yet. Something better than it's not human yet. No, it's never human, fuckers. Anyway, go ahead. I am so sorry. I will.
Professor Tevis letting us know what is and isn't human. So wait, did Lucy stay human, or when she venomized, did she become something else? What is Lucy's What is her humanity status?
Well, the tagline of Lucy is, "She's not a flash drive yet."
She's not a fucking flash drive. ... Yet.
Yes. That would have been an accurate tagline.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate how much I love that is our sole unyielding quote / description for us when we talk about Lucy. She turned into a flash drive.
Greatest movie ever.
Can I get back to this greatest movie ever,
Oh,
please?
yeah, absolutely. What's taking you so long?
So 3 guys are in the snowcat, and one of them is on a laptop, and they are nearing the source of a frequency. There's something coming over the radio, or is it like a research beacon? Like something has detected a signal.
Yeah, this creepy signal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. The creepy signal is cool.
Question.
Answer.
This movie is a prequel to, specifically, an exact prequel to exactly John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes.
Hold on. You mean The Thing that came out in 1982?
Yes.
The Thing that takes place in 1982?
Yes.
Where did they get this laptop?
Was it a laptop, actually?
Wasn't it? What was it?
I don't remember now.
There's a guy in the back of the... There's a guy driving, a guy in the passenger seat, and a dude in the back with some...
Is it... I think it's just like a radio.
Is it?
I think. Yeah. It's not a laptop.
Okay. Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. But the sound is...
He has a device, and they are being drawn to the sound.
This cool sound.
When... I have it here. The guy in the passenger seat makes jokes like what's his face in Predator.
Oh, terrible. Terrible.
It's okay.
What is the joke?
So a kid, a young boy, walks in while his parents are doing it.
Oh, yes.
And he sees his dad on top of his mom and runs off crying. And the parents try to explain, we're sorry, but it's normal and whatever. And while the boy's crying. And then one day, the dad comes home and he hears the sound and he goes up to the room and there's the boy laying on top of his grandmother, just giving her, and I believe the quote is giving her the business.
Giving her the business.
And then he turns around to look at his dad and says, "How do you feel when it's your mother?"
Yeah.
And to which the other guy erupts in laughter. I went, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the same jokes as Predator.
Yeah.
I laughed just as hard.
Yeah, but at least, man, what is that guy's name?
Hawkins.
You know what makes Hawkins jokes work? They're quick.
They are quick, yes.
They're quick, like a joke is supposed to be. If your joke is a paragraph, your joke sucks.
That took them 3 days to travel across the ice, and he started that on the second day and finished it on the third day.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the sound for just a minute.
Like the
actual sound that they're following. So when I was looking things up on this, the sound that they are following, this creepy signal, is apparently similar to sounds that scientists have actually heard coming from space.
Oh, cool.
And that terrifies the shit out of me. Like, what the hell is giving off that fucking sound out there?
No, Tevis. Hold on to that.
Okay.
And then look up the sounds scientists have found from the bottom of the ocean.
No.
And we'll just bring it a lot closer to home.
No. You know, I'm just thinking about it. It just creeps me out.
Yeah.
I don't like water that I can't see the bottom of.
What is it? Thaslophobia?
Sure.
I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but
you're close. I know exactly what.
The Thaslia, whatever it is.
No.
Yeah. Just that fear of just like, oh my God.
No. A guy I went to high school with, he got into underwater welding.
I hear it pays well.
Yeah, he did good. He does fairly well. I think he quit and he's doing something else now. Anyway, but I would follow him on Facebook or other social media shit, and he would post pictures of different areas that he was working on, and one of them was one of those big oil rigs.
Oh yeah,
and you see
the pipe just goes down
into nothing, and no, absolutely not. Absolutely. There was one picture he posted, and he was on a ship, and there was the porthole to look out, and the water was like up above almost completely above. No, thank you. Nope. I don't even like playing video games where I have to get in the water and go down.
So, you're not playing, say, Subnautica?
No. I tried. No.
Hey, Patreon fans.
No.
If you're interested, you know what? Let's set a goal. I think it was like if we get 25 Patreon subscribers, we were going to force Tevis to play Outlast live for all of our amusement. And I'd be there with him, and when he got too scared, I would take a turn. And I'll scream like a girl, and we'll all have a good time. If that's 25, if we get to 50, we'll all get together and we'll make Tevis play Subnautica. Because what's great about that is it embraces your fear of diving down, but then amplifies it because there's definitely shit down there.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Or we could make you play Dredge.
I don't know what that is.
Essentially, you play a fishing boat, and you go out in the waters and you fish, and you're making your living in a small town. Except the small town is like at the epicenter of a Lovecraftian horror. So the farther along
I know
you
what
get,
you're talking about.
You just experience more and more shit from the deep. Now that one, you don't have to go in the water. It's stuff coming out of the water.
I don't think I would have an issue with that.
Okay.
It's actually getting in the water and then having to go.
Okay, no. So we'll stick with Subnautica.
Yeah.
Just something just purely
nightmare fuel for me? No.
So there you have it, folks. Oh, I was going to bring this up too, because I cheated in one of our top 10s when we went on a rant about what is a video game IP that you would take a stab at adapting to the screen. I would take a stab at Outlast. I cheated and said Resident Evil. I would take a stab at Outlast.
That would be cool.
Absolutely. And my main character will be the adult version of the kid from Monster Summer.
Jesus Christ.
Who just doesn't understand to don't go in there. Actually, all of Outlast could have been prevented if he just didn't go in there.
It sounds like every horror movie.
Don't go in there. And they went in there. Yeah.
And we have a movie.
All right. Getting back to this movie.
Yes.
So they're trying to find the source of the sound when all of a sudden the guy at the machine is like, stop. And they stop. He's like, we are right above the source. And then an inexplicable ice crack happens, causing the snowcat to fall into a crevice that luckily the cat wedges itself after fall. This thing fell like 100 feet or more. And my thought was, oh, they're dead. Those guys are, but they didn't die, and they somehow climbed out?
Ropes. Jetpacks.
Or maybe they were able, flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were able to radio their team and get a helicopter over, but like.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
Now, wait a minute. This all ties together really well. You don't like the water and it goes up above you and you can just see all around and it just goes and goes and goes. Now, what if you were in this snowcat and you were just looking down into abyss? It's still land,
I wouldn't like that either.
but does it go to the Earth's core? I don't know.
Nope. Yeah. No.
Obviously, it doesn't because it'd be lava, but you get my point.
Yeah. Nope. I don't like that either.
I'm being hyperbolic for the sake of comedy. I know there's someone out there going, actually, I don't know what
they are. They're pushing up their glasses as well, too, just like that.
I don't know what a vagina looks like.
Speaking of an abyss.
Is it like a sarlacc pit? Now, actually, I do know what female body parts look like. My favorite movie is Love Lies Bleeding. That's the Kristen Stewart lesbian love movie about female bodybuilding.
Oh, I have no idea what that is. You said Kristen Stewart, and I would shut my brain off.
That's why I wait, did I lead with Kristen Stewart or did I lead with lesbians? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Anywho, they get out, and it jumps to American scientist Katie as she's listening to just the worst song.
It's so
Who
on
can
the
it
nose.
be now? Do, 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 do. Who can it be
before we get to
now?
this point, though, we get the
do.
opening logo of the thing.
This seemed hokey, and I don't know why.
They redid the original opening of the thing, the original logo.
Yeah.
Only
worse
in all CGI.
Yeah.
Which looks worse. And it's almost like it's foreshadowing this movie.
If I had paid more attention, what you're saying.
Yeah, because the original logo reveal of the 82 version is fantastic. They put that black trash bag on the back of it, so when they burn it, it reveals to the camera. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay. It's the thing. But anyway.
Who can it be now?
I hated that. I hated the song.
So we see Katie doing a internal exam of a dead, frozen specimen of a prehistoric Ice Age bear.
Do you know what that actually is? That prop?
No.
It's one of the dead dogs from the original.
That's cool.
Thing.
You know what's funny that you bring that up? Because like bears are my favorite animal. They're the best. They're murder machines, but you look at their face and they're just huggable, and you're like,
pandas.
You're like, no, bears. Well,
pandas. They're the best.
You're just like, don't pet, don't pet, don't pet.
Why is it coming after me? Oh, it wants a hug.
Bring it in, and it turns into the Revenant. But I remember looking at it going, that's not a bear snout.
No.
There was just something about that. I was like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, I don't know what it was supposed to be, but
well, it said like Ursus something, which is bear. You know, it's an Ice Age bear.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, there was like a placard or something that was like Ursus, Majoris or whatever.
I was too busy being distracted by who could it be now?
And she's scoping, checking out its insides, when all of a sudden a very serious, oh no, an old friend walks in. And this guy's kind of a wiener. But he says his boss is interested in her services. Then the very serious Norwegian man enters and explains something to the fact that they have found something in the ice, and due to her experience as a paleontologist with a number of ice digs under her belt, they would like to bring her in for her expertise in this expedition.
Yeah, Dr. Sander Halverson is his name. Her name is Kate Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the other guy's name?
Adam Finch.
Adam Finch. Finchy.
I think he was the actor who played Lloyd Christmas in the Dumb and Dumber prequel.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel bad for that guy. I mean, you know what? You got to do what you got to do
Gotta
to get your
start somewhere.
foot in the door.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I
Yep.
remember, God, this had to have been 8th grade or 9th. I just remember there was this kid in school. That was like his favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Does he hate movies?
Maybe he hated himself. I'm not sure. But like, that was his go-to. And I just went, ugh.
Yeah. No. Did you ever watch the actual sequel?
No.
No, it was terrible.
I've just seen Dumb and Dumber, and that's where I'm choosing to stop.
I didn't even make it halfway through. I was like, this is so stupid. I can't watch it.
Yeah, no. How hard is it? We need a sequel, an actual sequel for Dumb and Dumber. My mind goes to, they've done it. The dream is achieved. We open the movie with them working at the worm store.
Yeah, and honestly, the
Nice big sign. I got worms.
The sequel may have it. I don't remember. It was just, it had the feel of a spoof movie almost.
Yeah.
And that's not what Dumb and Dumber is.
No.
And it just, I didn't.
Dumb and Dumber is actually a really smartly written and directed and performed movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Anywho, back to this smartly written, directed, and performed movie. But Kate is hired on for her expertise. So they and what's his face explains that they have found a structure and a specimen, and they're in the Arctic, correct? Not Antarctic. They're in the Arctic.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Because the Antarctic has those giant spiders.
Sure.
No, that's some weird internet conspiracy.
No, I've seen video.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Of the giant Antarctic. It is Antarctic, right?
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm just bullshitting.
No, there's a ridiculous internet conspiracy that like no one ever goes to the Antarctic because there's satellite footage of like house-sized spiders walking around.
No, I've never heard of this, honestly.
Oh, we could look up a picture. It's real. The picture is not great. And I'm like, people believe this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Anyway, but she's in. I mean, if you are a paleontologist and someone comes up to you and says, we found a structure and a specimen buried in the Arctic, you're gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
That's too much of a hook. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Alan Grant would have gone.
Yeah.
But he was at least smart enough in business. He'd have got his digs funded or something. And
so we get the helicopter ride.
Okay. Maybe I was wrong about the laptop and I'm just misremembering. I can live with that. This is not a 1982 helicopter. Eat my ass.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a helicopter.
You could eat me from behind like a starving man at a buffet line. This is not a 1982 helicopter.
I'm not familiar with the makes and models of helicopters. And
so but yes, we get the helicopter ride. We may get to the base, but I'm looking at the vehicles, the structures, everyone's clothing, their hairstyle, just everything. And I'm going, this is not a prequel to a movie that takes place in 82.
It didn't feel like it.
It feels like 2011.
Yeah.
And you know what it gave me? AVP vibes.
It does.
This movie has really strong Alien versus Predator vibes, and that's not a great thing because AVP is not great.
No, it's not, but it's fun. I like AVP.
Oh yeah, Dad and I owned it.
Yeah. It's a fun movie to watch. But no, now that you bring that up, yeah, it does.
It feels like AVP
a little bit.
It doesn't feel like The Thing.
No.
And I guess when we get to final thoughts, I'll try to remember to go more into it. But I didn't care for it.
I didn't like the helicopter ride where they're trying to bring out the personality of these people.
You mean the Americans? Because the helicopter going to the Norwegian research base. And the helicopter itself is full of Norwegians, except for the American paleontologist and the American assistant. And both pilots are American.
Yeah, McCready and
fake McCready.
Fake McCready and Childs. Fake Childs.
And I'm just going, why are we stacking this cast with Americans all of a sudden?
I love it. We're going to make a Thing movie, a prequel. We're going to find out what happened to the Norwegians. But who gives a fuck about the Norwegians? We got to put Americans in here.
It's all Americans.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, that bothered me.
I guess, wait, you can't call it a white savior because there are few people more white than the Norwegians. So is this an American savior complex or issue?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like, oh, no. We need more Americans in this Norwegian story.
It's almost like they don't trust the audience to bond with Norwegians.
You mean foreigners?
Those damn foreigners.
You mean we ain't gonna trust a movie stock full of foreigners? Is that what you mean, Tevis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we follow the Americans all the way through this thing.
Yeah, and you know who? And here's the thing: there are a couple Norwegian characters I wish we had followed.
Absolutely.
Lars,
and I don't know the guy's name.
the red-haired guy.
Exactly, and I don't. That sucks. I don't know his name.
He's in Game of Thrones. He's one of the main wildlings.
I love him.
He's a big guy with the shock of red hair and the big red beard.
Yeah, I think he was fantastic.
Yeah, there are characters I wanted to spend my time with.
Jonas is what who he was.
Yeah, Jonas and Lars in particular. Anywho, though, no, we get there and we learn that the Norwegians have found an alien ship, and outside the ship, as if it was trying to escape the crash, the frozen remains of the creature. So they bring the creature back to base in a huge block of ice. They successfully get it dug out.
Yes.
And is it just me, or did you hate how much of, I guess, what we would call the thing's true form you could see?
No, it didn't bother me.
I don't know. It kind of bothered me.
Really?
Because I was just like, oh, it's like a giant cockroach from Men in Black. It's goddamn Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black.
Are you talking about when it's in the ice?
When it's in the ice.
Oh, okay. That didn't bother me, but it does later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the guy who runs the base wants a tissue sample, and they get a big drill out, and they're drilling, and oops, they hit a cavity. And I love they're just like carefully. And the drill just stabs into the thing.
Yes.
To me, I was like, okay, that was, and everyone just paused going,
yeah. And isn't Kate like, no, we can't do this right now. We have to wait.
We don't have the right equipment. We don't have sterile environments. This is not the right place or time.
Yeah. She is the smart one.
Well, she's American.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant. I just didn't want to be that way. But yeah, the American is always right. And those stupid foreigners hock everything up.
That's true. Although, you know what the foreigners did do anytime they were handling the stuff? They at least had the sense to put gloves on.
Unlike Wilford Brimley.
Although, Wilford Brimley had gloves on. He was just going almost shoulder deep into this thing.
Yeah, but then he takes that pencil and he's like moving stuff and then he puts it to his lips.
Well, he was chewing on it deep in thought. Yeah. Oh my God. He's the first thing. Now we know how he got infected.
He stuck it in the thing and then he tried it. He's like, oh, this tastes like cheesecake.
Never mind. But they get a tissue sample off the drill bit.
Yes, they do.
Be more, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like they just get this perfect little like sliver of tissue.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no, there would be
Oh, they'd pull that thing out and it would look like it was from one of the Saw movies.
here in my mind, because I'm thinking like, okay, I'm doing some home reno. I've got my drill out and I'm drilling a hole through wood. And you pull the bit out, and all the grooves of your bit are full of wood shavings, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm picturing should be in this creature.
Yeah.
Okay. And then everyone is celebrating the find. While no, actually, everybody's celebrating the
Everybody is.
find. Okay, then we get a cut of the dog, Lars's dog, and Lars is like he's got it kenneled, and the dog starts trying to chew its way out of the kennel. And I was like, oh, we're getting the dog scene.
Yeah.
Except all we get is a scene of the dog trying to chew his way out of a kennel. And that's nothing comes from that.
No.
Okay. There's another scene we're about to get to, and we'll circle back around. But I'm not crazy. There's a cut to the dog who senses something's wrong and is trying to escape.
Yeah, there's something it's not liking. But yeah, it's just a callback.
Everyone's partying. When all of a sudden, fake Childs, he's had a few to drink, and he goes to
Derek is his name.
Derek Fake Childs goes to look at the block of ice and the creature himself. Now, apparently, the room that the block of ice is in is warm enough that the ice begins to melt, and I'm not gonna lie, kind of rapidly. It looks like someone turned a faucet on.
A little bit. But then we get that stupid fake jump scare bullshit.
So
I hate it.
Are you talking about The Awakening?
Well, because Derek is looking at this block of ice. And then they do this thing, and it's extremely cheap. There's a guy behind him, but he doesn't know it. And he goes, boo.
Yeah.
But the volume is cranked way up on it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, okay, that was a cheap scare. But then I can't remember who that was because it doesn't matter.
No.
But then he leaves. Derek is still there. And that's when the creature jumps out of that block of ice.
So then this thing erupts from the block of ice and then jumps through the ceiling. And I went, oh no. And that is the moment that I went, oh no. Because I don't remember. It's been long enough. I don't remember any of this. And I just went, oh no. They've already got it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And this sets the stage for how they're going to treat the thing. Like it's just another bombastic, rampaging creature. When in fact, the thing is the exact opposite.
Yes.
They have fundamentally missed the point of what this monster is.
I 100% agree with you.
That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible the rest of the way through.
Yeah, so Derek runs back and tells everybody that it escaped.
It's escaped.
So they break everybody up into teams and they go searching the camp for it. I don't know the character. It doesn't matter. But two of them find this thing underneath one of the houses.
Yeah, it's like under the porch.
Yeah. And they shine their lights under there and you see different pieces of it. I like that they didn't show, because this movie, it does way too much showing.
Yes.
And I like that they don't hear. You just see bits and pieces of it underneath the porch.
Until you get the piranha plant.
Yeah. And then I don't know. My head hurts.
So yeah, the search parties go. Two guys find it under one of the stations, one of the porches, whatever it is. It's underneath a structure. and they're like, "Oh God, everyone come!" And then they turn their back on it for reasons.
Yeah, one guy turns his back to tell the other guy.
And the thing shoots a tongue-like appendage out that pierces through the guy's back, out his chest, and then barbs extend outward like a grappling hook and pull him under the porch, under the structure where it begins to consume him. And the guy who didn't get consumed is covered in blood and is screaming for help.
Olaf. That's Olaf.
Sure.
I don't know. This part disappointed me. It just feels, like you said earlier, a standard monster movie.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes from here to a standard monster movie.
We were at standard monster movie when it erupted out the ceiling.
Yeah, but my hope was we could get, after that moment, maybe we get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
But then the guy gets pierced by that tongue thing.
Which again, that it wouldn't do that. The thing wouldn't do that.
And the only thought process I could think of about what the thought process was with the thing was, this is its first encounter with humans.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't quite know what to expect. So this movie, it's going to act different than it does in the sequel.
Okay.
In the 82 version. Because in this movie, it's having its first encounters. It's learning what these people are, how they think, how they interact. Because when it's assimilating people, it gets their memories.
Yeah.
So it's learning too. But again, it's just a standard monster movie.
Can I be devil's advocate?
Sure.
Because as I was talking to Anna about this, she brought up the same thing. Well, it's behaving differently because, if I may, I don't buy that.
Okay.
Is this now, this is its first encounter with humans, yes, but look at it from a basic evolutionary standpoint. It has a remarkable adaptation to assimilate. That's how it learns. That's how it feeds. That's how it survives. So whether or not this is the thing's first encounter with humans is irrelevant. Its whole evolutionary survival is predicated on observation, stealth, assimilation, then takeover. It's on subterfuge. So it would have done this type of assimilation / takeover from other species. That's how this thing has gotten to the point of where it is. It would be more careful than this.
I could see that.
You get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get
if
that.
we are to believe, which we have to, it's not even up for debate. This is a hyper-intelligent space-faring race. This creature can operate a spaceship.
Maybe.
From what? No.
Go ahead. Continue your argument, and then I will.
Okay. So my argument is, it would at least have the sense and the knowledge to hide and observe, and then strike when the time is right to assimilate and learn more. It would not just attack and eat in front of witnesses and expose itself.
I would agree with that. But we don't know that it was flying that saucer.
A la Alien.
Correct.
It could have been something else and it was on board.
Exactly. It could have been just a prisoner on this ship. It could have been infecting this ship. And
so,
from what I've researched, what was supposed to happen at the very end, when they go onto this ship, there was supposed to be a more of a exploration of the ship instead of a final battle type of deal.
Sure.
And through this exploration, we were supposed to learn that there was an actual pilot that was still on board the ship. It was dead, but the thing itself was taking over the passengers on this ship. And in order to kill it, the pilot crash landed on the planet.
Okay. That's
But
cool.
we don't learn this.
I was going to say, that's cool. However,
yes.
back to my argument, that's not in the movie, so we can't.
Yeah, but we never get an answer at all.
You know what we do get? The thing turns the spaceship on.
Yes, we do.
The thing powers it up. So regardless if it was an original pilot or not, we don't know. The movie doesn't tell us. But I do know that this thing is intelligent enough to power on and presumably pilot a spaceship.
Yeah, because it learns what it absorbs.
Right.
So yes.
So whether its species invented the spaceship or it absorbed it, we don't know either. Officially, we don't know either way. But again, from an evolutionary basis, this thing is a stealth hunter.
I agree.
And it's absorbed it. Again, it either has or has absorbed enough higher intelligence to not act like this.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this attack is stupid.
Yes.
Okay. Also, before the stupid attack with the grapple tongue, we see they find the dog kennel. Dog's gone.
Yeah, isn't there blood in there?
Yeah. There's a hole in the fence, in the cage. And the corner, like presumably where the dog may have like backed itself into a corner because the thing was coming for it, is just covered in blood. But there are no remains. It's just blood. And they're like, oh, the dog's gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. They knew they had to have a dog.
Yes.
And that's as far as the script went with that idea.
At that point, yes.
And they went, good, we got that plot hole out of the way. So the guy gets eaten. While it's in the process of eating that guy, the team shows up and like a handful of people have guns. They start shooting it. And then eventually someone shows up with a flamethrower.
Yeah, it doesn't... McCready shows up.
Fake McCready.
With gas cans.
Real McCready would have handled this shit.
Oh, yeah.
That cheating
But
bitch.
they throw gas cans underneath it and light it on fire.
That's how they do it, yeah.
Yeah.
However.
And kill this thing.
Yeah. Presumably.
But then they bring it in and
dissect it. So they kill it with fire while the guy is getting eaten. And then we get the dissection scene where the lead scientist and he orders Kate to help and everyone else just kind of watches as they begin dissecting this huge insectoid form. And I don't think I'm off base with that description.
No.
It's insectoid.
Yeah.
But they cut it open, start moving some organs around, and find their dead friend. You know?
Yeah, and she say something about this tissue looks new?
Yes.
And then she finds that piece of metal from his broken arm.
So the lead, the guy who runs the base, the lead scientist, says, oh, look, that's, Steve or whatever, Sven, and he is in some sort of embryonic sac. It must be part of some form of digestion. And they cut the sac open. And that's when Kate mentions, but look at the tissue. It looks almost new.
Yeah.
So she's kind of observing that this does not look like a digestive process. It almost looks like a regrowth process. And then she goes, what the hell is this? And finds a metal plate with screws. And that's when Lloyd Adam is like, oh, that looks like and he also gets way too specific. He's like, well, that looks like a titanium plate with such and such screws that they would use to hold a bone. He basically gave this thing's model number.
Yeah,
Well, that
exactly.
looks like a Heartland Model 6275 Series A titanium plate with top of the line.
He read the back of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what it felt like.
Yes. There's a lot of that.
And then one of the Norwegians is like, well, yeah, he broke his arm last year and had to have a plate put in. And that's when Kate goes, well, if it's supposed to be in his arm, why is it now outside of him? And I kind of dug.
I did too.
If this had been properly built up, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And if we didn't get the make and model and history of the titanium plate. Now, question. This is about the point where our main character, Kate, stops engaging in dialogue and enters this weird phase in her life where every time she opens her mouth, it's just exposition, right?
Yes.
She no longer engages in conversation. She just adds exposition to a moment.
Yeah, she's no longer a character. She is
almost a narrator.
A narrator almost.
Yeah.
And it feels like that a lot.
Kate, how's your day? You want some breakfast? Well, actually, what we don't realize is the food has probably already been compromised, and the mere fact that you are eating it means that you and whoever else has touched it could be the monster. I'm going, really?
Yeah.
This is what we're doing now.
Yes.
Some bullshit, just like filler happens, and not interesting filler, not character building filler, not tension or paranoia creating filler, just filler. But whilst in the bathroom, Kate finds bloody tooth fillings on the floor and picks them up with a Kleenex, which I think I personally would want a little more space between my skin and bloody tooth fillings than a Kleenex.
She gets that single ply.
And they probably weren't Kleenex brand. They were Norwegian facial tissue. Yeah. And then she notices blood in the shower stall, and there's a bloody shower. And I went, okay, we got something.
Yeah, because the fake fake Childs, and they're taking two of the Norwegians on a helicopter. They're going to take Olav.
So the guy who witnessed the attack, he's not doing well.
No, not at all.
And then someone's going with him.
Yes.
And then the not McCready and not Childs got him in their not 1982 helicopter.
Got him in their Airwolf.
Yeah. The thing, whatever. It looks like it should be an armored gunship. This thing, whatever. And they go to leave, but Kate found the tooth fillings and runs out and flags them down. But realizing they're being flagged down, swerve, you think Olaf is infected. It's the other Norwegian who's infective. And in one of the most egregiously bad CGI monster attack scenes I have ever seen, Tevis, the guy splits in half, a bunch of tentacles shoot out and attach to Olaf and kill him, and the helicopter crashes.
Okay, I'm going to defend it for just one moment.
Okay.
But it's a moment of this attack. You're not wrong. We get a face shot of him, and the face kind of cracks a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't crack completely, but you can see that there's something moving.
Oh, yeah.
And then the camera cuts from him to Olav looking terrified.
Yeah, except I thought the warden had a scarab in his chest.
It wasn't that bad. That face...
It was about to get that bad.
No, it does. It does. But when it first starts to just kind of move, I was like, oh, this is cool. But then his face cracks open, his chest cracks open. I'm like, oh.
And
this looks like shit.
All of a sudden, the actor is gone and looks like a plastic CGI. He looks like an R-rated horror idea from Polar Express.
Yes.
like even his skin tone shifts
Yeah,
to not his skin tone.
it's almost shiny.
The lighting doesn't match the scene. Like it's so bad.
It's so bad. It went from, oh, this could be interesting when the face cracks a little bit, and then we get their big reveal. I'm like, oh,
It would have been better, and we're going to do this a lot. It would have been better if we got the starting face crack that looked kind of okay. It looked passable. It cuts to Olaf looking terrified. Then it cuts to everyone else's perspective as we watch the helicopter go down. That should have been the cut.
yes, I agree. But yeah, so the helicopter crashes, and it seemed I kind of chuckled a little bit because it felt like this helicopter was falling forever.
Well, if I didn't know better, it was being piloted by Fast and Furious. Oh, damn it, what's her name? From Avatar.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez. If I didn't know better, I thought Michelle Rodriguez was piloting it.
But it's the way, so the helicopter is above the base because they are talking about going back to land. And then it starts spiraling out of control. But then they shoot it from the actual base. You can look up and you see it kind of spinning out of control. But then it shifts way back to where you see the actual base in the ground, on the bottom of the screen and the mountains.
Yeah.
And it goes behind the mountain. And when I was watching this, even this last watch through, I didn't realize that we were pulled way back from the base.
Yeah.
I thought we were still from Kate's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm like, this fucking thing is spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's traveling miles.
And that's the thing. I didn't realize. I thought we were in Kate's perspective as well. I thought we were in the perspective of the onlookers from the base. And I went, how did this thing just travel 15 miles?
Exactly.
It's jarring to the point that it becomes problematic for your audience to understand a major plot development later.
Yeah. And so I'm watching this and I'm thinking, my God, this fucking thing is taking it's taking forever to crash, and it's traveling miles. So I had to rewind it a little bit. And that's when I noticed the base at the bottom of the screen, because I'm busy watching the top of the screen.
Yeah, you're watching the opposite end of the screen, the helicopter.
So then I noticed, oh, okay, so this is a shot way back. It doesn't work very well.
See, I didn't catch that at all.
You didn't?
I didn't catch the base at the bottom because that's not where your eye is.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here going, he hadn't gone that far because he could see Kate flagging him down.
Yeah.
Then we see him turn the helicopter around to go to re-land. How in the hell did they get that far away? Yeah. It's such a horribly conceived cut of shots.
It is. Yeah, it's not great.
I thought I was watching an Egerton movie.
You watch your damn mouth.
No, because then the helicopter there would have been a shot of it being perfectly like perpendicular.
Yeah, so Kate's the only voice of reason. She doesn't want anybody leaving.
They end up having everyone gets together to further discuss what's going on. Kate talks about the fillings and talks about what her and Adam saw in the microscope of the alien cells assimilating the human cells and then disguising itself as human cells.
So, okay. This movie has an opportunity to build on the tension of not trusting anybody, like the 82 version does so well.
Like it's supposed to.
Yes. But you also have a more of an advantage with this movie than you do with the 82 version. You could have, because you have the language barrier.
Yep.
Because there are a few of the people there that only speak Norwegian.
Well, actually, I want to touch on that, but I'll let you continue.
Okay. But then you have the couple other characters who speak Norwegian and English. And then you also have this dynamic of, in 82, you have this group of men and these two women who are trying to speak up, and the men are like, whatever, be it, go make a sandwich, you know. So there's a whole lot of things that they could play with, and they don't really. They try to do the language barrier thing a little bit. It just doesn't. It falls kind of flat. It doesn't really work.
You know why it doesn't work? Because one of the key characters that suffer from the language barrier, they gave up on that shit immediately. So one of my favorite characters in this movie is Lars. He owns the dog that got killed.
Yeah, he's the only one that speaks just Norwegian.
So they're all talking about, they're all excited. They're all talking about the find, but there's Lars in the corner just playing with his dog. And Kate asks, she goes, so what's up with him? Is he just solely uninterested in all of this? And one of the other Norwegian guys goes, oh no, that's Lars. He doesn't understand English, but he works as hard as a bear. So, you know, he's good for the dig. But no, he doesn't understand. Okay, we set it up. Do you notice how all of a sudden, when the plot needs it to be, Lars can't speak English, but son of a bitch, he begins to understand it perfectly.
He kind of takes charge there, or takes the focal point for a little bit.
Right, but like Kate is telling him things in English that are not simple instructions. And yet he, even in Norwegian, he's like, yeah, I could do that. Motherfucker, what do you mean, yeah, you can do that?
Yeah.
You understood her, you prick.
That is true.
This movie sets up one character who ends up being a key character of the group. He doesn't understand. That works. Except that you come to find out, no, he understands English just fine. He just can't speak it.
Yeah.
So they took this and cocked it up so completely, again, to the point it's jarring.
Yeah, because there was that moment when they did the fillings, and one group that don't have fillings, they're talking to Lars in Norwegian, and then they get into, it starts to get a little tense.
Yeah.
But then it just immediately stops. And I can't remember why. I think it's because it's
I don't think it was Lars, it was Pieter.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But Lars is set up to not know or understand English. Perfect. That works really well. Until the plot needs him to understand what Kate's saying.
Yeah.
Not only does he understand what she's saying, he appropriately responds to her in Norwegian.
That's true.
So guess what? You have fucked it up.
Yes, they did.
You know, it's gonna be my only F-bomb this episode.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
They had something and it's ruined. Anywho, so they have this meeting. Helicopter went down. Kate explains the fillings, and everyone disperses to go about whatever their plans are. When the lady, the other Juliet, is like, "Hey, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I think I saw something that was weird." And she's like, "Can you?" And then they realize they're kind of getting side-eyed by one of the guys.
Yes.
And she's like, "Can you come in here?" And Kate's like, "Yes, of course." And then we all saw it coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
This wasn't a huge shock when all of a sudden Juliet just explodes into a Resident Evil final boss style monster and chases Kate around, and Kate escapes and they burn her.
Yeah, and then somebody steps out into the hallway.
Oh,
and gets...
I have it here. I think you'll appreciate this. So Kate gets out of the room, starts running down the hallway, bumps into another guy, and tells him to run. And he's like, "What do you mean?" And then he turns and he gets eaten by the Juliet monster.
Yeah, gets stabbed. Carl.
But I have him down as Carl's brother.
Okay.
Because he looks exactly like Carl's brother from Die Hard.
He does, doesn't he?
He looks he has the glasses, he has the haircut, the hair color. He looks exactly like Carl's brother. He does.
And I absolutely hated this. It fucking feels like this, just the standard monster movie with them running down the hallway from this creature. It sucks.
So then they realize, like, okay, we can't let it's taking over people and mimicking them. We can't let anyone escape till we're sure it's dead. So now Kate has pretty much been with Lars almost this whole time, and more or less feels like she can trust him.
Right.
I mean, shit, you gotta trust somebody. So at a certain point, you have to roll the dice. And takes Lars to disable the vehicles. They're going to disable all the vehicles so no one can escape. And they're disabling the vehicles. But at one point, after Lars like cuts the starter out of the snowcat or whatever that component is, she's like, "Is that all the vehicles?" in English. And then like he looks at her in Norwegian. He's like, "Yep, nothing's going to escape now." What are we doing?
Yeah.
The language barrier doesn't work if at least one of the two characters totally understands what the other one is saying.
Yeah. Then, okay, and then they bring up the blood test.
Well,
when she mentions the blood test, I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're
doing the blood test.
We're just doing beat for beat everything that happened in 82.
Yeah, but with a lot less craft.
Yes, but then there's a fire and destroys the whole lab or whatever.
And we learn the lab is destroyed in a sabotaged arson,
similar to
the blood bags.
The blood bags in 82. But then they come up with this other idea of the fillings.
Yes.
I liked this. I thought this was creative. It was different. But it doesn't have the same tension or mystery of the blood test.
There's no mystery. There's no build up. There's no suspense.
No, and you get when she's doing the blood test, she's asking these people to open their mouth in the flashlight, and I don't understand their reluctance. The ones who do have the fillings,
yeah,
they're being like suspicious for no reason.
So Kate explains, okay, that test didn't work, but I have an idea for another one.
Yeah.
The thing cannot replicate inorganic material. It couldn't replicate the fillings, so it spit them out. So, if you have fillings, you're human.
Yeah.
She has blatantly stated, if you have fillings, you are innocent.
Yeah. And then the couple of the characters, when she's like, okay, open your mouth, they're like just slowly and reluctantly opening their mouth. And you're like, oh, they have fillings.
Like,
okay.
dude, you know you have fillings.
What are you doing? I would be like, yeah, look, see? Huh?
You know who didn't fight it? The only guy who, in theory, shouldn't understand what she had just said. And yet she takes a flashlight from one of the other guys, looks to Lars and says, open your mouth. And he's just like,
yeah.
I can't get over this.
Yeah.
But Lars has fillings. Then she gives Lars the flashlight and opens her mouth and it's like, check. And he sees she has fillings. And I wrote in my notes, oh, good, a test based on fillings. I'm effed.
Yeah.
I don't have fillings.
Yeah, me either. And I like the line that one of the guys gives.
They get to Adam, and Adam goes, they're like, just open your mouth. And he goes, I'm telling you, I don't have fillings. I'm going to die because I floss.
Yeah. I like that.
And she's like, no one's going to die. Just open your mouth. And they see he doesn't have fillings, like he told them. And they're like, don't worry, you're not going to die, but you are going to stand over there, motherfucker, so we can murder you.
And I like when the group that don't have fillings, they're standing in a group there, in the group of 4, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it was Adam when he stands over there and then another person comes over. They get a little too close to him. He's like, no. He moves over just a little bit. And then the other person comes on the other side of him. And he's like, oh, God, I don't like this. And he doesn't know where to go.
Then we get to the guy who runs the thing, the main scientist, and he says, this test is nonsense. There are too many variables. He's like, no, I'm not going to open my mouth. I have porcelain
Yes.
fillings. They can be replicated. What are you going to do about it? She was like, cool. Then open your mouth and let me see him. He's like, no, I'm not gonna. And he goes over there and you go, oh, good. He's the thing.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of mystery here.
There's no finesse to this story. Like, I DM a lot for our Dungeons and Dragons group. I don't
do what?
If you know, you know. I DM Dungeon Master.
Direct message? Oh, no.
No, I'm not trying to see Diane Keaton naked. I saw that once and I was, Mom, no. But in the stories I do for the group, I don't do mysteries. And actually, there's two reasons. A big reason is that my group are not they don't think in like detectives. And so even the most simple mystery of follow the breadcrumbs takes an agonizing amount of time. And I still have to hold their hands and I can't take it.
Okay.
But the other reason I don't do mysteries is because writing a compelling mystery with all the hoops and dead ends and red herrings and the true path and to do it right is really hard.
Oh, I imagine.
And not everyone is built to write a compelling mystery. So like for me personally, that's why I don't. None of my stories are mysteries because I can't do it. And this film is not written with any of the components you need for a compelling whodunit, which if you want to break down the story of the thing to its most basic elements, that's what it is. It's a whodunit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Also, so at the end of this test, we are at a perfect 4v4 standoff.
Yeah, we are.
I hate that. I don't know why I hated that, but I hated that. I can't tell you why though. There's just something about it that I just went, oh good, now we have two equal, even sets of teams.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair.
But like, that's the point.
Whose shirts and whose skins?
But when you go to like John Carpenters, right? It would oftentimes break down to, well, this guy seems the most suspicious. And then because of the paranoia and the fear and the fatigue, everyone would dogpile, which is human nature. That's what people would do. That's what we would do. And then there might be one or two voices of reason going, now, wait a minute, we don't know that. Let's think this through. And they're like, no, we're not going to. He's obviously it. We need to burn him. But something about this even team split undercuts that for me.
I could see that. But no, this fillings test is interrupted because earlier the pilots come back. They survive the crash somehow. It doesn't matter.
Plot armor.
But they don't the team of the Norwegians and Kate, they don't trust the two pilots, so they lock them up in the shed.
Blair style.
And the fillings scene is interrupted by fake McCready and fake Childs breaking into.
Not yet.
They
do the fillings test. We have our teams of 4. Kate and Lars go to get them to give them the test.
That's right.
And she tells Pieter to keep his flamethrower trained on the other 4 because we don't know. And that's when they start talking to him in Norwegian. And she's like, Pieter, I don't know what they're telling you, but you cannot trust them. You know that. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
They go to her and Lars go to get the Americans, the pilots. They broke out.
Oh, it wasn't her. It was the redhead guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The redhead guy and Lars.
Yeah.
Because
Then
that's
wait.
right. Because
Why the hell did she leave?
I don't remember.
Why did she leave?
That's when, because you get they see that the floorboards have been knocked up
And the Americans escaped.
and the Americans are gone. But then Lars goes into this one room and
He gets taken out.
he gets yanked to the side like Looney Tunes cartoon.
It almost looked like, is it one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets where at the end Freddy Krueger's arm goes through the door, through the peephole, grabs that woman by the face, and then just yanks her out
through the window.
Yeah,
It wasn't that bad, but that was the end of the first one.
Yeah.
They have that terrible looking
I thought
dummy.
the end of the first one was when the gang is like, we did it, and then they drive off in a red car with the striped soft top.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then they drive away and the mother is waving, and then you get Freddy reaching through and pulling her through the window.
And she just goes, whoop.
It looks terrible.
Like she goes completely horizontal in the air.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Lars looked a lot like that.
It was a little ridiculous, but it's like whoop, whoop, whoop. They pull him to the side, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, Jonas, he's like, fuck this, I'm leaving. He runs back into the camp.
So the Americans come. Now they're like, we can't trust the Americans, gotta kill them, except Derek,
yes,
has a gun. He ends up shooting
Is it Petra,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he shoots him in the head and a couple times and hits the gas tank.
Yeah, he shoots at him a couple of times.
Tank.
One of the bullets hits him in the head and kills him, and one of the bullets hits the gas tank, which I did appreciate. The gas tank didn't just immediately explode.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
So they go down. There's some tense dialogue, but fuel from the compromised gas tank does make its way to the still burning ignition source of the flamethrower, which then causes the explosion. So we still got there.
Yeah, and it knocks I don't remember the guy's name.
It doesn't matter.
But it knocks him out.
Yeah, it knocks one of the Norwegians out.
And then we get
what I have in my notes, Rec Room Massacre.
This is so stupid.
So everyone goes into the rec room.
They're carrying.
And the guy who's knocked out is being carried by two people. You know, they each have an arm draped over their shoulder. Am I describing that?
Correct.
So people can kind of picture it.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden they get into the rec room and both guys accidentally pull one of the arms off the unconscious man. Or does just one arm get pulled off?
Yeah, one arm gets pulled off and it turns into a face hugger.
And it attacked like a face hugger.
It does. Yeah.
And it killed the redhead guy we liked.
Jonas.
It kills Jonas. Well, no, it is assimilating him slowly while he's still alive.
Yeah, because it attaches to his face. And then this whole scene is just a clusterfuck. Because Derek gets killed by spear arm, whatever.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Adam gets like his liver ripped out.
Yeah, he gets stabbed and then
but it pulls like an organ out.
It pulls something.
He gets like
but then that's when
he gets like sub-zeroed. Like it rips an organ out.
But that's when that other creature crawls over to him and lays on him and they mold together.
And I have in here, okay, we can do assimilation through skin to skin contact, I guess.
Yes.
Which I get, I was like, we haven't seen it, but I guess, well, at first I was confused because I was like, can we do that? But then again, it's just cells copying up. So yeah, it would work.
Yeah.
Then I remembered the scene in John Carpenters in the basement at the very end where Blair is dragging the captain or by his face. And that's a horrifying scene.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, no, we're here. Yeah, it worked. I just wish it had been done in a way that I cared.
Yeah, and then we get this stupid cat and mouse game where this two-headed creature is stalking through the kitchen like a velociraptor.
Okay, I thought I was insane because I've been thinking about this since I watched it. I thought I was crazy because I went, man, this gives real Jurassic Park vibes.
Oh no, I got
But
that.
is that just me? And I'm so glad you said, because I thought I was just conflating again, as I do sometimes.
But there's a moment where Joel Edgerton's character, McCready,
Not McCready.
Not McCready.
Fake McCready.
it's his name is McReady.
Yeah, there's McReady.
So Great Value McReady is hiding behind something with a knife, and this creature comes walking in through these swinging doors, and it's just stomping all through this kitchen, and then it goes towards where Edgerton is hiding, and then it turns around and looks at him and growls at him.
Yeah.
Like a fucking dog.
Did you not get, like, the whole creature design in this movie? Did you not get Resident Evil?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
they are heavily inspired by the bosses you fight in any Resident Evil game where they have a human form, you do enough damage, and then they let the infection take over, and then they go to their super monster form.
I thought this creature was a licker.
It would have been better if it had been.
I mean, honestly, that's what I thought. Because in Resident Evil, when you're going down the hallway and you see that thing, the licker come crawling across outside
Yeah.
the window, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck was that? I was more terrified of the game that came out
In 98?
2?
No.
4 or 5? I don't remember when Resident Evil came out, the first original Resident Evil. But
I want to say the sequel might have come out in 95, 6.
But I was more terrified of that game, 96.
Got there.
Yeah. Than I was at any moment in this movie. And when that creature comes through the kitchen, turns and looks at Edgerton and growls, I was like, what are we fucking doing here?
So now, and also, it's the thing is just going full generic monster, like beast monster. Like, it's not intelligent. It's just a rampaging creature. And why has it stopped its assimilation?
I don't know. It just, yeah, because, well, the reason why it's not transforming anymore is because in 82, that is the creature they find outside that was burned. So they have to keep it looking like that. But,
my God, there are so many other better ways you could have gotten to that point, because the movie does try to recreate all the iconic images we see in John Carpenters when they visit the Norwegian base. We see the axe embedded in the wall. We see the two-headed burnt corpse in the snow. We see this. We see the giant ice block. They do their best to incorporate all those shots. They just do it bad. It's done poorly.
I agree. And again, there were tons of reshoots and re-editing and rewrites, and the studio didn't like the pacing that the director was going for. So they're like, no, we need to change it. We need to show the monster more. We need to change the pacing of this a little more. And it sucked. I hated what they did with it.
Where's the director's cut of this movie? I'd watch it. I'd give it a chance.
There is apparently, because they call this one the Tetris cut, and they call the director's original vision the pilot cut.
Okay. Is the pilot cut out there in the
I don't know.
ether?
I haven't been able to find it.
Damn.
But I would love to see it, because
I'd give it a shot.
There is a YouTube video I watched of it was a behind the scenes documentary video, and I cannot remember the name of it. But it showed a lot of behind the scenes footage of them doing the practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Juliet monster was an actual guy in a suit that he would run down the hallway, and it was, the arms would flail and everything would move. Same way with this creature with the two heads. They had built this animatronic puppet with that actor's face, and it looks so good.
Yeah.
And they would move it, and they would raise it up and have it run. It looks so cool. But
Now,
the studio's like, no, we need more CGI.
hear me out. Maybe I'm wrong, but like the Juliet monster.
Yeah.
My issue wasn't that it was CGI or practical. My issue is that it was there and that it was done in that manner.
Yeah, but at the same time, when she starts to turn, it's like, God, it looks so bad, and it just takes you away from it.
Absolutely. It could have been done better all across the board, but my issue is that I believe that conceptually,
I agree. Yeah.
this attack sequence is fundamentally wrong.
It's a lot of those. That one, this two-headed monster
this
attack,
one's really bad.
It's terrible. But anyway.
So basically, everyone's dead except Kate, not McCready,
Dr. Halverson?
the lead scientist.
Yeah, Dr. Halverson.
Is that it?
I think so, because
everyone else is gone.
Kate lights this two-headed creature on fire. It runs, jumps through the wall, gets outside, dies. They go outside to look at it, and that's when they see Halverson driving off in the snowcat to the spaceship, head towards the spaceship.
All right, let's talk about it.
How shitty of a job they did dismantling the snowcats.
Yes. Because in theory, again, it looks like Lars removes a starter or something the thing will not turn on.
Right.
And we see him in the one we see him remove, he pockets it. Doesn't he?
I don't remember.
Or did he leave it sitting in the snowcat?
I
thought
he. But I know they cut a bunch of wires.
Yeah, they cut a bunch of wires. How?
It doesn't make sense.
So here's the thing, though. In a span of like 3 minutes, maybe, he got it working.
Oh, yeah.
The thing got it working and takes off. Then they were like, we could catch him. And then not McCready and Kate get one working. You have made a major plot point, the dismantling, the disabling of all vehicles so everyone's isolated. Again, until it doesn't work for your shitty plot.
Yep.
And now not only one vehicle works, 2 are working.
Yeah, McCready got it working.
What was the point? This movie does a phenomenal job at undercutting itself. This movie catches a football, is running towards the end zone, no defenders around, and then stops and takes a knee.
It's like those assholes that celebrate too early and they drop it
and
on
then
the
they
one.
Fumble.
They drop it on the one. They're like, yeah. Like, motherfucker, you did not cross the line with the ball.
They spike the ball on the 1 yard line, not realizing they hadn't gone far enough so they could do their dance.
Yeah. They're too busy trying to figure out what dance they're going to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. It's like all they did was take the battery cables off of the battery and just leave it hang. We're good.
Yeah.
No, nobody can run this thing now because nobody knows how to attach a battery cable.
So now, now 2 snowcats are working, and they chase the thing to the spaceship. And as Kate and not McCready, what is his name?
Carter? Sam Carter.
Sam.
I had no idea.
Nope. As Kate and Sam make it to the spaceship, and they get on top of it, and then all of a sudden it powers up. It turns on.
I hated this.
And I went, no. I would have been fine with them getting to the spaceship and exploring the spaceship or whatever. But as soon as it powered on, that's when I went, bullshit.
Yeah, and the the mini blinds start opening.
The vent, like the
vents.
heat vents open, the exhaust vents open, which catch Kate by surprise. She's holding on, screaming for help, and she falls into the vent. Question.
Hated it.
Question.
Hated it.
Question.
Hated it.
Question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I thought you were going to hit me with another hated
I
it.
hated it.
I'm not a smart guy, and I'm not mechanically savvy, or my mind doesn't function super well with engineering.
Yeah.
But I'm almost positive that an exhaust port would not lead, if you fell into an exhaust port, you would not land in a random corridor of the ship. You would land near a heat-producing engine compartment.
Oh, this is an alien spaceship. We don't know.
But
and we don't know that it was an exhaust port. That could have been their windows. That's why they looked like mini blinds, only bigger.
But there was no glass. She fell straight through the thing.
I know. Maybe they don't have glass.
So they can just deal with the pressure vacuum when they're in space?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. This moment when they're running atop the spacecraft and it's powering up and the things are opening and the things are spinning and the fire is firing.
The fire is firing, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it here.
It didn't fit. It felt like it was trying to be too big.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all.
Again, I didn't remember. I knew I had seen this movie. I had forgotten about this. I remembered they ended up on the ship.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember the details, right?
The third act of this is
terrible.
Terrible.
And I'm watching it going, wow, I'm really impressed that they did a worse job on a we must enter this powered on spaceship scene than the movie The Predator.
Oh God. I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I stopped watching that movie about halfway through because it sucked.
Yeah, you didn't miss anything.
But I did fast forward to the end to find out exactly what happened. But like he slides off into the force field or something and
the force field is coming up, but instead of just like powering on all the way like something does when it's electric, it like generates. And so as it's coming, it like cuts one guy's legs off at like the shins, and then he slides off the force field and dies. And the main character, that real douchey guy,
I know exactly who you're talking about.
He falls prone and is now trapped between the ship and the force field. So imagine, if you will, this movie is telling you that you have ship, a gap a full-size man can lay down in and still breathe and talk, force field. Like he's in this bubble in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quinn was his name in the movie.
Sure.
Boyd Holbrook is the actor.
Sure.
I don't know what it is about him. I don't like him.
Not a fan.
No, but he was in Logan. He was the
head mercenary guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
I liked him in that.
Maybe because he puts off this real natural, like, skeevy vibe, and in Logan, he's playing a skeevy character.
Yeah. So I don't know. I apologize to Mr. Holbrook. I don't know anything about you, but I don't like you.
Go stick to typecasting and go for roles where you play the skeevy bad guy.
Yes, I agree. But
so she's on the ship.
Oh.
And she sees the Tetris thing. I am now wildly curious.
Okay. They built this animatronic alien that was the pilot. And it was hanging there. From the behind the scenes shit that I saw, like eyes would move, the mouth would, everything was awesome. It looked cool. But the test audiences didn't understand it. The studio was like, nobody understands what this is. Get rid of it. And one of the arguments and I don't remember if it was the director or the writer or the who had the argument, was nobody questioned what the pilot was in Alien.
Yeah.
They just kind of assumed that this was the original pilot or something.
Yeah.
But it added to the mystery and the lore of the Alien film.
Yeah. And then arguably, when we got the film that explained who the pilot was, that movie was terrible.
Absolutely.
And honestly, the reveal was terrible.
Absolutely. So they tried to go this route, and the studio was like, no, get rid of it. And that's what we get. This Tetris thing is covering it up.
So I don't understand.
I don't either.
What, like, can you explain to me again what she's supposed to be like? The pilot's hanging there. I can't picture. I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, it was like it was in its pilot seat, but it was, it was hooked up with cables, and it was almost like it was a part of the ship.
Okay.
But it was just kind of hanging there, and I know it moved, so I don't know, like, if it was supposed to still be alive or what the whole details were about it, but it was similar to Alien.
Yeah.
And apparently the studio was like, we don't get it, covered up. So this was their solution.
Just random nonsense.
Yeah.
So, okay, without having seen it, like, I'd have to see it, right? Is there a picture? Are you looking it up?
I'm going to.
Is there a picture?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then, so as he looks up the picture, here's my initial thought. It could be one of those things where maybe they had this really cool idea of how the pilot flew the ship, but maybe it was slightly too abstract. Like, it worked in Alien because this huge alien is sitting in what looks like some sort of cockpit-esque chair and has the mechanisms around him. Like, there were enough details that we could piece together and understand that we could make that leap, and we could make that assumption, and it made sense and it works. Like, if the idea is too abstract, perhaps without seeing it function, we don't connect those dots the right way.
I could see that.
Okay, I'm looking at this picture.
But yeah, like all the eyes would move, and everything would move, and it looked really cool in the video that I watched, the documentary on YouTube.
So the picture is of a cool looking alien, but if we go back to the picture of how it is suspended by, like, the cables and the wires and whatever. Yeah, see, you know what? I get the problem. There is nothing about this setup that directly correlates to any kind of piloting. This idea is, if anything, he almost looks like a prisoner.
I get that, but apparently there was supposed to be, because there wasn't supposed to be this end battle.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be more of an exploration type of thing. So there was more to it than just her walking into it, like, and seeing, like, this Tetris thing. It was more to it than her just walking in and seeing this creature.
So just going off of it, though, to me, I get where people were confused or not totally sure what they were looking at, because nothing about that image screams pilot. But again, we're also looking at a still image taken out of context.
Exactly.
So with the context, it may answer
I would love
everything.
I would love to see the director's cut of this movie.
So would I. But you get my point. Just going off of what we can find, I could see where that confuses people, because there isn't enough similarity. Unless, of course, you're like a diehard Warhammer 40K fan, and that's how you drive down the street, is you have to hook up to some apparatus, and then the machine spirit communes with your soul, so you can, unless you're a diehard 40K fan,
Okay.
that looks very odd. Like, as far as I know, I could be looking at a screenshot from the next Hellraiser movie. I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
But you get my point.
I do.
But again, we're also looking at it out of context.
Absolutely.
But Kate's on this ship where all of a sudden we see the fully formed Resident Evil mutated version of the lead scientist, and his head is still there. Like his face is still there. Like every good Resident Evil monster still has.
It looks so
Awful.
It looks like they just projected his face onto it and didn't bother blend it. Ugh. It no. At least in the 82, we got Wilford Brimley still kind of in the Blair monster,
Yeah.
but he was distorted and morphed.
And he would scream.
This looked like they're like, oh, nobody knows who that is supposed to be. Oh, well, we'll just put his face right here. It's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody knows now. Okay. And then we get this
The chase.
the cat and mouse in the vent.
Okay, so she escapes into a vent. Sorry, my wife just texted. But she goes into a vent, and it goes to I was trying to explain this to my friend, and he said he got it, so I think I do an okay job. But she goes down what ends up being a T-junction. So she's going, picture her entering the T from the bottom. Okay?
Okay.
She goes down the corridor and then hits the top bar that goes across.
Okay.
She like jumps or gets knocked or whatever, but goes to the right. The grenade she has goes left.
Yes.
But at the right, it's blocked. It has some sort of cover, and she can't keep going. She's trapped. She looks across the T, and there's another vent cover. She is trapped in this T-junction. And the monster is coming also down the vertical line of the T. Right? It's directly chasing her.
Right.
Then we see its tentacles appear from that middle opening, from the junction
point. Can't
point.
reach her.
And it's like, wait, was that the issue? Because the movie's wildly unclear on what the issue is. We just see the tentacles come out. It's just like reaching for me. Then we see the tentacles, for seemingly no reason on screen, retract.
Yes.
And go away. And I remember watching this going, it has her. Why the hell did it leave?
Yeah, and we've already seen that this thing can detach parts of itself.
Right.
So,
but if the issue is it couldn't reach her, then it would have been unable to enter the vent.
Exactly.
Let alone get far enough into the vent it made it to the T-junction.
Yeah, it doesn't do a very good job of showing why.
So our issue is either it entered the vent, and despite the vent not changing size whatsoever, it decides it can't fit. That's nonsense and doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
If it's a reach issue, and the thing is at the entrance to the vent because it couldn't go in at all, if it could make its tentacles grow this far, it can definitely make them grow the 3 feet it needs to get her.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
So it retracts. Then, in classic unintelligent monster beast mode, it just crashes through the wall where she's sitting. Apparently.
Yeah, and so she gets the grenade, but we don't know she gets the grenade. Did this seem like it took forever to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And none of it makes coherent sense.
No. But so, because we have the grenade, because earlier we were shown where the grenades are stored
by Lars,
because we need those for later in the 82 version. But the thing ends up grabbing a hold of her and dragging her out of the vent
instead of just mauling her face off or shooting tentacles out or anything we've seen it do to anyone else when it needed to kill them immediately.
Yeah. So then it attempts to eat her, like, because it opens up its mouth and it's coming to.
It's leaning down to bite her.
Yeah, and that's when she throws the grenade into its mouth
Yes.
and it explodes.
Yes.
And then Edgerton shows up and he's like, hey, come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. And then it's on fire and destroys the ship. And
Now wait, when the grenade goes off, does it explode or is it like an incendiary grenade?
It's an incendiary.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, so the thing is dead. The ship has been dismantled and destroyed.
Kind of.
And they rush out and back to their snowcats.
Yeah. So, Tevis.
So earlier,
I know exactly who the Thing is at John Carpenter's The Thing because Childs all throughout the movie has an earring, you see. No, hear me, he has an earring. But then at the end of the movie, with his coat collar pulled up and his hat pulled down, and you can't see his ears at all, I can tell you he does not have his earring, which means without any kind of argument to be made against, he is the Thing proof.
okay, on the snowcat ride to the ship, Haight asks Great Value McReady what happened to Lars.
And he says, I didn't kill him.
We didn't kill him. But the camera is over Edgerton's shoulder looking at Kate. And Edgerton is looking at Kate. Everything is blurry except his earring.
Oh my God. It had the quest marker highlight. The MacGuffin you're looking for is here.
I almost half expected it to be like kind of glowing and pulsing and having that chiming sound. Cling, 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 cling.
I about half pooped my pants with rage. I almost rage crapped my pants as I went, you have got to be kidding me.
So we get back to the snowcat after the lame ass action scene. Edgerton's in the driver's seat. Kate is like, I'm going to put this flamethrower in the back.
And Sam tells her,
Sam? Is that what his name is?
Sam Carter, right?
Well, I don't know. How would I know? Sam.
Sam
Okay.
tells her that there's a Russian research base about 50 miles away.
Yes.
And that they should have just enough gas to make it there.
Right.
And that's when she's like, yeah, let me just go store this flamethrower in the back. Be right back.
And then she comes with this thing on. She's like, do you know how I knew you were human back there when you came from the crash? Your earring. And he reaches up and he grabs his ear. And she's like, no, your other ear.
You wore your earring in the other ear.
I have a problem with this.
The scene she's referencing when they come back, his head is definitely completely covered as it should be, and you can't see his ears or earring at all. Nor throughout the entire movie do you see an earring in his head.
No.
Okay.
Well, you see his earring when he's in the helicopter for their first riding.
I didn't.
Arriving.
Or yeah. I didn't.
I noticed it. Yeah.
I didn't mentally take note of it.
And the only reason I did is because I've watched this previously.
Yeah. See, I didn't remember really this part. I remembered that they did something with an earring, but I didn't catch it until I got my quest marker.
But I have 2 issues with this.
Only 2?
Only 2. Actually, I have 3 issues with this. Okay, no, I have 4. No, I have 3 issues. So the first one, when the thing assimilates, it gets your memories.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it remember what fucking ear the earring is in?
You would think.
Because obviously Sam knows what ear his earring is in.
You would think.
Okay. Number 2, I get the fillings getting spit out.
Yeah.
I get the metal plate in your arm getting spit out.
Yeah.
But the thing can't assimilate clothes.
Right.
So it puts clothes on.
Yeah.
Why would it not put an earring in?
Something purely cosmetic that you can control?
Absolutely. You can't control the fillings.
I didn't even think about it like that before.
Yeah.
God damn, are you some kind of genius?
Of course I am.
You are the smartest.
I am the smartest man that ever lived.
Congratulations, Tevis. You're officially the smartest boy in school.
So the third part I had an issue with, so she burns him.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I love the shot where we get from the back of the snowcat and it's slow motion and the fire is just engulfing him. But it looks like it's actually Joel Edgerton getting lit on fire.
Yeah, it does look really good.
This looks fantastic. I hate that we get the scream.
The thing scream.
The thing scream. I think it would have been so much better if they would have just omitted that. And then we would all been like, wait a minute. Was he human? Was he not? Did his earring just fall out maybe when he was running or chasing, whatever? With them including that alien scream, you lose so much.
There's no
mystery.
There's no ambiguity now.
Yeah. It sucks.
Yes, it does.
So I think he should have reached up for his other ear, the correct ear. And then she just like, nope, fuck you. You are a thing. And lit his ass on fire.
Yeah.
They should have eliminated the scream. And then she's in the snowcat driving away and just focus on her face for a while. And she's contemplating, did I actually kill the thing or did I kill Sam? I think that would have been a better ending.
Now, question. I think you're right. I'm just talking about the ending at this point. I don't know how I feel about there being a survivor.
Well, we got 2 survivors in 82.
Yeah, but they're also laying there accepting their fate as the cold creeps in on them and there's no apparent source of rescue.
Yeah, but you get the same thing here. She's driving in a direction. She doesn't know where she's going. She's limited gas. She's not going to survive either, I don't think.
Yeah, but they give way more hope that...
That's true. That is
true.
Like,
the ending is she survives, whereas the ending of 82... You have 2 guys, one or both possibly the thing. Well, that's not one possibly the thing, but you have 2 guys sitting there accepting the fact that death is coming.
Yeah.
Where she's just like driving away.
Oh, yeah. No, the ending is terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then credits. But during the credits, we see... I forget who this asshole is, to be honest.
Lars?
No, the other asshole.
The pilot?
The other Norwegian guy.
Lars. The one that only speaks Norwegian.
No. The one who approaches him and gets shot at by Lars.
The pilot. He's just some pilot who shows up. I don't know who he was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So we see a helicopter land. This guy gets out and Lars shoots at him.
Yeah.
And Lars is a terrible shot.
I don't think he meant to kill him. He just wanted to scare him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, open your mouth. Open your fucking mouth. And the guy's like, what?
Yeah. Sees fillings.
Yeah.
Then they see the dog run. Yes. And he's like, get in the fucking helicopter. That's not a dog. Which is what they yell.
Yes.
And then we see that Lars and this other guy are the 2 Norwegians who ultimately get killed by the American base captain.
Absolutely. I like this.
I like that it's there because you have to have it. But the dog was a write-off. They didn't know how to incorporate it.
Yes.
They didn't know what to do with it. And they just got rid of it.
I agree.
And then they brought it back when it was convenient. It's such a cop-out.
Yeah, I don't think they did a good job with incorporating everything that they needed to incorporate to connect to the 82 version. Because they're like, oh, look, we have a dog. And then, fuck off.
Yeah.
For 40 minutes.
Honestly, okay. If I'm going to be an asshole.
Okay.
Here's how let me armchair quarterback, Tevis. No, I'd have done it. As you and I just sit here and we're thinking about it. Well, I'd change a lot of things, but let's just assume I'm only changing this.
Okay.
The rec room attack happens. That other pilot, whoever that guy, he's not there. We're taking him out. Lars comes in because he's not dead, and helps save the day. So we'll essentially have Kate, Sam, evil scientist who's the Thing, Lars, one other survivor. And they have fillings. Doesn't matter. All we need to know is he's human.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what do? We hear a snowcat. They go, the group go out, they see the doctor take off in the snowcat. Then they're like, holy shit, how'd they get it started? And Lars can give some, it must have replaced X.
Yeah.
Okay, we got something. We got to give chase. They go, and we see Lars real quick fixing another cat as quick as he can. He comes out, tells Kate it's ready. While they're getting ready to get in the snowcat, all of a sudden, the dog runs out. Now, they found the dog's kennel covered in blood. They know the dog is dead. And Lars looks at it and goes, maybe he tries calling once or twice or blows a dog, something, because it's his dog, blows a whistle, like a dog whistle, something, and goes, that's not a dog. And now our group of 4 have to separate because we have 2 things escaping.
Okay.
And Lars goes to put his dog down. Those guys leave at the exact same time Kate and Sam leave. Because the damage is done, it's freezing over. And timeline-wise, everything that happens on the ship could be happening at the start
I like that.
of the original.
I like that a lot. I would do something different with the monster in the ice.
I clearly said I would change a lot of things, but if we're just going off the dog part.
Okay. But so if I was to do this movie, it would be when they take the tissue sample. That tissue sample is what starts it off.
Agree. I'm in the exact same boat as you. Absolutely, that's what starts it.
Start small. Give the whole of who could it be now?
Yeah.
You started that with the fucking song, so let's build on that.
Get rid of the song, by the way.
Yeah, get rid of the song. But have that creature in the ice be the final boss. He's the one that bursts out at the end of the movie and goes towards the ship. But we get right away this giant creature bursting out of this ice. That should have been the end.
See, I thought about this too. I do it a little differently.
Okay.
The tissue sample is our culprit. I'm with you there. But I think there needs to be enough milling about and different parties doing their thing, right?
Right.
I think Derek, when he goes to get a look at the monster himself, let's assume it's not during the party. Let's say it's the morning after and everyone's sleeping off their celebration. It's just fucking gone.
That would be cool too.
And that's it. It's just gone.
But at the same time, you have to have that roof destroyed.
Yeah.
Because in 82, when McCready and the doctor go, they see this big block of ice, big hole in it. The roof is destroyed. So you have to do that as well.
So you can still have it.
That's true.
They're sleeping off a night of partying.
That is true. Okay.
I think you just wake up and it's gone. And they look up and there's a hole in the ceiling.
Yeah.
That would still be better than the monster explodes from its frozen prison and then leaps through the roof like the Hulk.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think they just go down there to check it out the next morning. Gone.
I just think it doesn't need to be this giant action set piece.
It shouldn't be an action movie.
No, I 100% agree.
Which apparently the director agreed with.
Yeah.
But
the studio's like, no, you do it our way.
Ugh. Okay. So we're there. We're at the end. I put a star and I wrote this down.
Okay.
You had mentioned the terrible tagline on the box.
Yes.
I would like to mention the picture on the box, the cover art.
Oh, almost the Bennings.
Because the scene on the box is not a scene from this movie.
No.
What they did is they recreated Bennings's partial transformation from the original. The cover art isn't even this movie. Are you kidding me? What are we doing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I saw it, I was like, oh man, that kind of looks like Bennings. You know, I couldn't remember his name, but it looks like the partial transformation guy. I'll be curious to see how this goes. Then I'm watching going, and then I'm looking at the box art. I'm looking at the movie. I'm looking at the box art. I'm looking at the movie, and I'm going, this is something completely different. This is a direct ripoff of something fans of the original would recognize.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a way to help their sales. So when people go, I'm talking Blu-ray. DVD
You're the
sales.
only one that bought this movie.
No, because everybody else is like, oh, look at it. It's The Thing. It must be the remastered 82 version because it's got Bennings on the box. I'm going to buy it. I love it. And then they get home and they put it in. Their sound doesn't work, so they got to take it back to fucking Walmart and then get fucking eyeballed by Karen, the fucking service desk bitch.
I think you've just dropped as many F-bombs as I have this whole episode in this one rant. All right. Are we there?
We're there.
Ratings. IMDb with a 6.2.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sure.
That's fair.
Is it better than Ninja Turtles? Absolutely not, though. That's horse pucky.
What was Ninja Turtles 40?
50-something.
50-something, okay.
Hold on. It's not that far back. Hold on. Monster Summer. TMNT. Oh, no. Okay, no. It got a 6.8. Okay. Suck it thing. Rotten Tomatoes. So 6.2 IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes. 34% for a grand total of 96 points out of a possible 200. It didn't even crack 50%.
Damn.
Ratings. I have The Guardian and I have Ebert.
Ebert?
Ebert.
Oh, okay.
Which would you like?
Let's do Ebert.
Ebert. My excerpt, my quote. I expect this movie will do well at the box office. It has a lot of gory gotcha moments.
It does?
He expects it to do well. I would like to reiterate. Estimated budget of $38 million. And a worldwide gross of $31,505,287. But I expect it will do well at the box office. 2.5 stars.
What in the shit?
And just to piss you off, I looked it up. Die Hard got 2 stars.
What a...
The Thing prequel. The Thing prequel is half a star better than Die Hard.
In no goddamn universe. Are you out of your mind? You know, you said the budget was 38 million?
Approximately. Estimate.
So originally this budget was probably 18 million. But then all of the reshoots and the rewrites and the re-CGIing cost it another $20 million.
Probably.
So it would have made a profit if it hadn't have been for...
Well, it probably would have made more because it would have at least been a more coherent movie. But
fuck you, Ebert.
Okay, well, I'm not there yet. The Guardian. Do you want the stars or the review?
Hit me.
That doesn't answer my question.
Both. Stars.
Okay. 2 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
This review is really short and sweet, so I just took a picture of it and we're going to read it. Whatever good intentions were behind this prequel to John Carpenter's 1982 classic, the sloppy execution renders them moot. Residual goodwill from the, and it says here, ahem, from the comma, A-H-E-M comma, from the original remake rapidly dissipates as this degenerates into a slack bug hunt. The characters differentiated only by how poorly written or acted they are. Added to which, it's a riot of badly designed cartoonish digital effects, even for empty calorie thrills. This is not up to scratch. So, two things. One, I found this review so hilarious and accurate, I couldn't pick an excerpt. They're all fantastic.
I like it.
What in this review warrants 2 stars?
I like the ahem.
Him. The him. Very funny. No, I read that. I went, my God, it's so short. And it's so funny. I had to just do the whole thing.
I like that.
It's so good. So yeah, that was the Guardian's thoughts on that. So Tevis, I got nothing left. What are your final thoughts on the 2011 prequel?
Okay. I feel like if John Carpenter's The Thing wasn't a thing, if it didn't exist, this movie would be okay. I am a huge defender of when people say sequels or prequels can ruin the original. I don't believe that's true. I feel like you can disregard a sequel. I feel like you can disregard a prequel. I don't feel like it damages the original. That being said,
Oh dear.
the fact that this exists, it does take away from the original a little bit. You lose that chunk from 82 when they go to the Norwegian base, and you're left with what in the hell happened here? Because you never get an explanation of it at all in 82, nor should you, because you have your own problems at your own at the American research base. But now we know what happened there, and it sucks. It takes away from that mystery in 82. And I hate that this exists. It would be like if we watched Nosferatu, and then a few years later, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make a movie of Count Orlok's trip on the boat. Here is Last Voyage of the Demeter." And we're left going, what in the fuck was that shit? It doesn't even match with what is happening in Nosferatu.
I feel like you're using Nosferatu as a modern comparison, but you don't mean Nosferatu.
No, I mean Nosferatu because I tried to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula the other night. That movie is fucking awful.
With Keanu
and Gary, and I hate to say it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway. I hate to keep comparing it to the original, but I have to because it is a story that takes place within the same time frame.
Days apart.
The original had so many, and I'm not even talking effects. I'm talking about creature designs. the Norris monster, when the chest opens up and the arms go in, the doctor's arms go in and get cut off, and then the head detaches and it turns into a spider and it tries to crawl away.
Murphy at the test when he torpedoes to the ceiling.
Exactly. Bennings, him out in the snow and the scream, and the Blair monster at the end is fucking cool.
The dog monster.
The dog monster at the beginning is so fucking cool looking. Just look. I'm not talking about practical effects. I'm talking about just their design.
Basic concept. Somebody said, I have an idea for a monster, and they drew it.
This is my concept. The concepts for these monsters suck. It's almost like they said, okay, we'll have his head open and some tentacles come out, and that's fine. It'll be fine. Oh, well, we'll just have her kind of bend backwards and her chest opens and it'll be fine. Oh, well, what about the end creature? Oh, we'll just have some big giant creature and his chest has got a face.
Mm-hmm.
There is no memorable creatures in this, with the exception of the two-faced one. And that's just because they had to put that in because of the original monster design. That is the only memorable one. And one of the main reasons it's memorable, not because it was designed by the 82 movie, is because it looks like shit in the 2011 version and it growls like a dog. That is what bothered me the most about this movie. I was a huge fan and still am of the 82's The Thing. I loved the creature designs, and those designs influenced a lot of my artwork. So when I went to see I heard they were making a prequel to this, I thought, oh, cool, we're going to get more really cool monster designs. These fucking suck. Anyway. The acting is fine. Everybody's fine.
Shelley Duvall
levels of fine. But there's no standout performance. There are too many characters that are there just for cannon fodder. The rec room scene is a prime example of it. 5 people die in that scene.
I can't tell you who they are.
I don't either. I mean, the only one I know is Discount Store Childs.
Yeah. And Flossing Kid.
But if you're going to watch a movie called The Thing about an alien organism, watch 82. Ignore this. It's for the best. You will not get anything ruined. Just watch the original. You'll like the original more. You'll enjoy that this moment of the Norwegian camp is a mystery. It needed to stay a mystery. This is not worth the ticket price at all. And I am ashamed I own this on Blu-ray.
So for me, you touched on a lot of my issues. Is this movie worth the ticket price? No. And I'm just getting that out of the way because no one's surprised. There's no surprise here. It's not. If this movie were not the Thing prequel, if it were just its own thing, its own movie, it would be, at its very best, a B-rated sci-fi monster flick. That is the best it could even potentially ever be. And then the fact that they have the audacity to shoehorn it into John Carpenter's The Thing's universe is upsetting. And it makes it worse. They're trying to leech off of a legacy. And the fact that you can see that they're trying to do that makes them, it lowers the movie's value in my eyes. So, and you're 100% right.
This movie's value, 2011.
The 2011 film's already low value.
Okay.
Further decreases because they're trying to leech.
I get that.
They're drowning. So instead of just learning to swim on their own. They're just holding someone else down, right? They're trying to hold John Carpenter's film down.
Yeah.
To prop itself up, and you can see them doing it, and it's just not good, and it makes 2011 worse. Can a sequel and or prequel ruin an original? Yes, it can. Does this prequel lessen John Carpenter's in any way for me personally? Not at all. This does not spoil. Even when they go to the Norwegian base, this does not spoil anything for me. This is an exception to that rule, I think, personally speaking. And dare I say, I would like to add The Thing prequel to our list of, I would take a stab at that.
Oh, absolutely.
If they were to say ticket price, think you can do better? I'm going to roll up my flanneled sleeves and say, absolutely I can. We can. Here's the thing. I think you could do it better. I think I could do it better. I think anyone listening who has seen this movie and more importantly seen the John Carpenter version could do it better. But you and I together, on a 1-to-1 scale, we would kick this movie's ass. It would not even be close. It would be, here comes Stone Cold Steve Austin, because we have to have a wrestling reference.
I was just thinking I was going to wait till the end and be like, you know what? We didn't have a single wrestling reference. And I was going to be like, how cool is that? We did not have a single wrestling reference.
No, we have to. It's part of our thing now.
I understand.
You're obviously not up to date on the comments.
I am. Thank you so very much. We don't want our number one fan to revolt.
Mutiny, that's right. So
I'm sorry, I was thinking of revolting, and because I was watching the 2011 The Thing.
But it's like, and his opponent, here comes Crash Holly, and you're like, oh well,
here comes Gilbert.
Yeah, and you just go, oh, okay. We would mollywop this fool. It wouldn't even be close. No, just don't. It's not worth your. If you just absolutely love The Thing, you've read Who Goes There, you've seen The Thing from Outer Space, you've seen John Carpenter's, and you just haven't gotten to this one yet, I mean, go for it. You're not going to love it. If you've done everything I've just said, you'll probably hate this. But I get that completionist mindset of I know I'm not going to like it, but I got to finish it. You know, I feel that way about most trilogies. Where it's like, absolutely. I don't really want to see the third one, but I've come this far. I'll just watch it, I guess. No. This movie made $31 million, and that's easily $16 million too high. So, Tevis, I don't really have any, because I couldn't think of any awards to give this movie.
I have a few.
Hit me. What do you got?
I have the Halle Berry Award for Halle Berry.
She's never going to be on the show. Her name is Halle Berry.
So if I keep saying her name wrong, she won't come on?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a Halle Berry Award for Worst Line.
What is that accent?
I don't know. Anything when they're talking the science of whatever. Every time they talk science-y, it just feels like they're reading out of a textbook.
It hits wrong.
It does. It feels like it's, I don't know, clunky and unnatural. It just feels weird.
Again, everything Kate says from pretty much Act 2 on is just exposition dump.
Kind of, yeah.
And guess what? That doesn't make for good dialogue.
No. I have the Maximus Award for the best line.
Okay.
So I'm going to get killed because I floss. That was a reach.
No.
That was my favorite line in the entire movie.
That may be your favorite line, and it's one of the most memorable, unfortunately. It does not deserve the Maximus Award. Take that back.
Nope.
Take that back.
Because that's this movie. That's the only thing this movie has to offer. What's the worst part of this movie for you? One singular worst part.
Do you have one? I need a minute.
I do have one.
Okay.
I kind of went on a rant about it. It's the creature designs. CGI be damned. It's their design. They're all just bleh.
Okay, I think I've got it narrowed down.
Okay.
Everything related to the spaceship.
Okay.
The fact that 2 working snowcats exist, even though we watch them all get disabled. The fact that she falls through an exhaust port and lands in like the rec room
In
of
the kitchen.
in the kitchen of the spaceship. The monster chases her into a duct and then stops just so it can needlessly burst through the wall. The stupid grenade. As soon as the spaceship turned on, I'm glad I was home alone. Because I was the dad from A Christmas Story. My father could weave together curse words like a great painter working his canvas. The torrent of swears as soon as the space. Mother, what the? The entire final, whatever you want to call that.
That's the third act.
The spaceship from going to leaving the spaceship, I was disgusted by.
Yeah. Okay. You have a best part?
Do you have a best part?
Kind of.
Okay.
It's the idea of the prequel. I like their idea of exploring the Norwegian camp, of what happened at the Norwegian camp. They cocked it up, but I like that idea of
what happened,
of what finding out what could happen. I like that when they rebuilt the sets, they to make them accurate, they went back and they rewatched 82.
Yeah.
And they had to measure different things. So they're like, oh, well, okay, Kurt Russell is 5'11".
Sure.
So this means this has to be this tall. So they had to go and do all that shit to rebuild everything.
If only Eric Hesserer and the creation team had put that much work and detail.
And again, they may have.
That's true.
But
we need a director's cut.
We do need a director's cut.
Man, a best. God, I'm still struggling. Hold on. Lars is my favorite character for sure, I think. I'm going to say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say the credit sequence.
So
they do such a good job doing a shot for shot, angle for angle recreation of the start of the thing and the dog hunt that you could go from that sequence into 82 and it would be basically seamless.
So your favorite part of the 2011 film, The Thing, is the beginning of the 1982 The Thing.
I didn't put that together in my head, but yes.
Okay. I mean, hey.
Am I out of line?
No,
okay.
You are not. And because I am going to tell you my prop I want for this movie is Lars's glasses, the goggles.
Oh, yeah.
But I could also get those from the 82 version. There was only 3 things that I could think of that I would want for the studio.
Okay.
Were the goggles.
Sure.
The flamethrower.
That might be too big.
Or the grenade. All 3 I could get from 82. There is nothing. Maybe Edgerton's earring, but I'm like, no, that's so fucking dumb.
You could get Childs' earring. So, what prop for the studio? Honestly, none. I don't.
You don't want anything to soil the studio?
No. I cannot think of a single prop where I'm like, there it is. That's what we need. That's what I want. No.
Yeah.
No, if I want something, I'll get it from 82.
Exactly. That's the 3 that I got are from 82.
And it would be McCready's big stupid hat.
Oh, the awesome hat.
And we'd set it up on a pedestal somewhere with a big light on it.
Hell yeah.
But no, what can I think of a prop? No, I actively don't want a prop from this movie.
Are we done?
Hold on, what? Well, wait a minute. Why should we feel bad saying that the best part of this movie is actually a part from the original? Or why are we feeling bad for saying the best props from this movie were actually props from the original? They couldn't even come up with unique goddamn box art for their Blu-ray case. They just took a scene from the original. This is bullshit. Bullshit. This is now I'm angry. This is horseshit. God damn it. No, I don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel bad. 2011's The Thing needs to feel bad. All right, rip off bullshit ass. No, I don't want anything from this movie except for it to be done. Where's the hat? God damn it.
You want the axe that was in the wall?
No.
I imagine in my head when that scene came up and he cuts that spider thing in half. Arm. Yeah, and he leaves the axe in the wall and he goes to reach for it. And Kate is like, no.
Don't touch that.
Don't touch that. McCready needs to find that in about 42 hours. Yeah. I get why she's like, don't grab that. Don't grab it.
Because it's covered in contaminated blood. Like, she's not wrong.
Yeah. But I'm half expecting her now when we were talking about her exposition dump. Like, no, don't grab that. It's got all kinds of contaminated blood on that. If you grab that, then you're going to turn into the Thing. And I don't know if you're going to be you or if you're going to be the Thing. And your earring won't be in your ear. And what's going to happen?
Even though you'd have the memory of which ear it goes
exactly.
in. We need to do a bonus episode where we you and I will write up an outline of how we would make this movie. And that's the episode, is you and I will just go through how we would do this movie.
We'll do a radio version of...
Well, no, that means I have to write dialogue. I'm not writing dialogue. We'll just explain beat for beat.
Oh, okay.
The moments.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah. And how we would do it, why we would do it that way.
Yeah. I could design some monsters and be a hell of a lot better than anything that they got.
You can upload them on Patreon.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, check this out.
I like that idea.
Let's do it.
I'm in. Patreon episode.
How we would do The Thing prequel. It would be an all Norwegian cast. There would be approximately 0 Americans.
One. He dies.
No.
I'm good with that.
Where's the hat? It's your turn. My turn?
It's not my turn. It's your turn. I pulled the thing.
All right. Okay, I'm looking at the hat. Ooh, this one feels real dusty.
Grab that one.
No, I don't.
Die Hard 2.
No, I don't want that. It's all gritty on my hands. I don't like that. Here we go. I got one.
What the shit is that?
Yes.
If it's Lethal Weapon 4, I'm done. I'm stopping this recording.
Let me keep looking. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh. Okay. Is it his good movie?
It's not Street Fighter.
I said good movie.
How dare you? Raul Julia kills it.
That is the best part of the movie.
He is the best part of that movie.
He worked so hard on that movie, he died.
I saw Street Fighter in theaters.
Oh my God. Did you go ask for your money back?
No, because I was super young. I was like, oh, it's cool.
Oh.
I don't know anything about movies. All right. Bloodsport. Bloodsport.
I have never seen Bloodsport. Or was it Kickboxer? Which one's
Lionheart? Wait, which one is his hands wrapped in the glue? He's got his hand wraps, he dips in glue, and they put it in glass and stuff.
Which Kickboxer?
I don't know. They're all basically the same movie.
Where's the one where the bad guy is like, Yao Ming, good fuck.
What?
Yeah, the main antagonist. He's
a Yao Ming fan?
No, he's talking about the woman Jean-Claude Van Damme's girlfriend.
Oh, who's unfortunately named Yao Ming.
I don't know what her name was.
Not
Not the basketball
not
player.
NBA star Yao Ming.
Yeah. Maybe it was Lei Ming. I don't know.
Oh, it's not Lay Me, is it?
Yeah, it's Lei Mi.
Okay.
Lei Mi is good fuck.
I hope it's Bloodsport.
I don't think it is. I don't think I've seen Bloodsport. I'm pretty sure it was Kickboxer that I watched. Either way.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Wait, Time Cop. No, Universal Soldier.
Hard Target. You don't know Hard Target?
Predator.
That was the one where he plays the Cajun. Has the mullet.
I've seen the pictures of him in a mullet. I didn't know the movie, though. I cannot imagine Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to do a Cajun accent.
It's been a while since I watched it.
It has to be Charlie Sheen worthy.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute since I watched it. It's a John Woo movie.
As long as it's not Mission Impossible 2, I like John Woo.
Yes, exactly.
Man, I think I put it in the hat. Now I have to check because I can't remember, or I'll just put it in again. We still need to do. Oh, God damn it. I'm such an idiot.
Mission Impossible 1?
No.
John Woo movie?
Yes.
With Chow Yun-fat?
Yes. Hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled. Yeah.
Did we put that in the hat?
I didn't.
I can't remember if I remember I was give me a slip of paper.
Okay. Put it in.
Might be in the hat twice.
That's all right.
All right. Hard-boiled. Going in the hat, folks. Tequila.
I'm all right with that.
So, thank you all so much for listening. I'm Jake.
Are we done?
That's Tevis. Didn't we?
Did we?
Didn't we?
I don't know.
We did final thoughts. We gave out awards.
Got the new movie that we're watching.
Drew a new movie.
Bloodsport.
Outro time.
Outro. Okay, you're right.
I'm Jake. That's Tevis. We are Ticket Price. This, unfortunately, has been the 2011 prequel, The Thing. Unanimously not worth the ticket price. Just go on with your day, folks. Nothing to see here.
Move along. Move along.
Keep it moving. Tune in next week as we look at Bloodsport and we try to figure out how it differs from other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. In the meantime, the most important thing, as always, remember to be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and good night.
Bet he does the splits in Bloodsport.
I bet he jumps and does the splits.
Kick somebody in the face.